Everybody, welcome to our next webinar on actually Next Health. You guys know how absolutely passionate I am about longevity and increased health span. So I want to introduce you to a company that I love, that I'm participating in, not as an investor or an advisor, but as actually a customer. And come on in, let's go visit Next Health. So here I am, I'm at the Westfield Century City Mall, and here with my buddy,
Peter,
Dr. Darshan Shah.
Thank you so much for coming today.
So Darshan is the founder, CEO of Next Health. He is a member of Abundance 360, one of our innovation board members, previously a plastic surgeon who saw the light. And you know we're in the midst of this extraordinary healthcare longevity revolution, and it's companies and facilities like you're building here that's going to allow us all to become the CEOs of our own health.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And what I'd like to do is actually walk around this amazing facility. So I go to a version that you have in Santa Monica with Bulletproof Labs with our dear friend Dave there. But this is gorgeous, first of all, absolutely beautiful. So let's take a quick tour and look around.
Sure.
And then I want to sit down and have cocktails with you.
Let's do it. Let's have some cocktails.
And have a conversation about what your vision is here.
Absolutely.
So first of all, this place is beautiful. It's clean. Does not look like a healthcare facility.
Right. That's by design. This is our retail. So what we believe is that you should have access to your own biomarkers. So you don't have to go to the doctor and ask them, will you please run some blood tests on me? We provide all the blood tests here. And what we provide here, Peter, is so much more in depth than what your doctor will ever do. We test micronutrient levels. We'll test your microbiome. We'll do food sensitivity, genetic testing. And it's all available to you to purchase. And then you can sit down with us and we'll go over the results with you in depth.
It was great. I went through, I did my testing on everything from my telomere to my food sensitivities to my biome, and you can get it all here.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
No more searching. Like, we want to bring it all to you.
And make it
so
super simple.
All the stuff you hear about on your podcast and like all this information out there, you can find it here. And we've curated the best testing.
And then get on the phone with one of your team members and basically get, what does it all mean?
Right, exactly. I think that's a huge piece of the puzzle.
All right, what else do you have?
Yeah, so this is our IV lounge. We do all sorts of different IVs. We're going to have a Myers cocktail later together.
Awesome.
But we have brain IVs, we have energy IVs, different ingredients that accomplish different things. We also do NAD, which is a precursor to what your mitochondria needs to make energy. We're going to get into peptides here pretty soon. So all next level, next generation stuff. You can come here and get it, IV therapy.
Amazing, amazing.
Anytime, it's a walk-in.
Fantastic. Let's continue the tour.
This is fun stuff. This is the world's first non-nitrogen cryotherapy chamber. So the most cryotherapy uses nitrogen, which could be dangerous to you, especially if you breathe it in. This is non-nitrogen, it's whole body, so you get even cooling throughout your body.
How cold does it get down there?
It gets a negative 240.
Negative 240. Let's figure out what negative 240 feels like.
Wow. How cold is it?
Actually, not as bad as you would think.
Yeah, and that's what's great about it, is you get all the benefits of a cold plunge in 3 minutes with a comfortable dry cold instead of being in cold water. So 3 minutes versus 30 minutes in a cold plunge. I love it. I try to do it every day.
Awesome.
Infrared light, near infrared light. Right now mitochondria is what all the buzz is about. We're learning so much about mitochondria. Near infrared light activates your mitochondria. It releases nitric oxide, which increases blood flow to all of your cells, increases collagen synthesis and cross-linking. This is a fantastic 25-minute treatment.
At the end of the day, your mitochondria is your energy source of your body, right? It's the power centers that turned us from these very slow moving anaerobes into these aerobic organisms that power through the environment. And challenge is that our mitochondria die, they become mutated, they become corrupted, they become non-functional, and you become slower and less capable. So the science on mitochondria right now is exploding.
It's incredible, and it's so amazing how we crawled out of the ocean as these unicellular organisms because of mitochondria, and where we live symbiotically with them, and we're just now learning about them, and how important they can be, even more important than our own genes, right?
Yeah.
So
pretty amazing.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Ignite your fire. I like that.
Yeah, so we got 2 of those beds. We're going to be adding hyperbaric oxygen here soon. We're going to be doing also sauna treatments here as well. So we have the heat treatment followed by cold treatment, which is fantastic together as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And we got right over here is the beginning of our medical treatment hallway. And
so it's interesting, right? You're not just a place where you go for an infusion or to buy a kit. You actually have the ability to provide medical treatments here.
Exactly, and so that's a really important distinction that we like for people to know is we are an actual medical facility, licensed under my medical license, and we don't just provide IVs and cryo, we tie it into a holistic wellness program. So right over here you see I've developed this wellness wheel, and these are 12 aspects of your health that everyone needs to focus on and optimize to help you, like we always talk about longevity, live as long as you can and live a healthy life for as long as possible. And we talk about all these different areas from sleep, cardiovascular, brain health, digestive health, and you meet with our medical practitioners. We have tests and programs to optimize all of these different aspects once you become a member.
Amazing, amazing. We'll talk about what membership is and the cost when we sit down and have cocktails.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's go check out your treatment room.
Absolutely, let's go take a look at it. So first, right over here on the right, we have our aesthetics, our next generation medical aesthetics room. We call this Next Beauty. Yeah. And part of growing older and feeling great is also kind of feeling like you look a little bit younger as well. So we do all of that here. I'm a recovering plastic surgeon.
I do.
But part of my expertise is really helping you look as young as you feel. And so what we don't advocate is overdoing things, but we like to use natural treatments such as PRP, and we use lasers to really youthfully.
And PRP is plasma one?
Yeah, platelet-rich plasma, right? So we take your blood, extract the growth factors, and directly inject that into your skin, which is fantastic for your rejuvenation of your skin. Yeah, awesome. Fun stuff. So in our next treatment room over here, this is our medical treatment room, and here is where we do actual procedures. So we will do autologous stem cells in this room. We will do.
So where do you get your autologous stem cells from? From fat. So you'll take fat, you'll spin out the stem cells.
Exactly.
Do you use the Satori machines, or what do you
use?
We
use this Helion machine right over here, the Centrosite Helion machine. This one is fantastic because it does the shaking and the separating all in one machine, which is what I really like. Kind of really makes the separation process easier. We also have a cell counter, so we actually count the number of stem cells that you're getting as well. And as you know, I mean, you're big into stem cells, but right now in the US, this method and umbilical stem cells are the only ones that we could potentially do, and we try to stay at the height of compliance with the FDA with stem cells. So now.
Fantastic. And so what else do you do in this room?
We do NAD infusions here as well. We'll do hair transplants, believe it or not, follicular unit extraction and grafting in this room. So, and then we do our hormone optimization with pellets here. So are you familiar with pellet therapy?
I'm not.
Okay, so traditionally when men or women got low in testosterone, you'd have to use creams or you'd have to shoot yourself up every couple times a week.
And these are slow release?
These are slow release pellets once every 4 months, and they give you a nice steady state of testosterone replacement, so you don't get these peaks and spikes up and down, which is immensely beneficial for your brain health, cardiovascular health, musculoskeletal health. And so we've treated hundreds of patients with this, and the benefits are just astounding, life-changing for people. Yeah, makes it easier a lot too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Please.
And this is one of my favorite rooms. It's the biomarker room, the Next Health biomarker room. And like I said, we believe in knowing everything about your body. So we have a DEXA scanner to measure your visceral fat, your total body fat, with X-ray. So you get an exact measurement. It also measures your bone density. And one of the things that sneaks up on people after your 30s or 40s is bone density, bone loss, right?
Sure.
So you need to know about that sooner rather than later and know how to attack it. So we watch that. People do this once every 3 to 6 months. We have a Staiku scanner as well, which shoots millions of light points on your body and gives you this beautiful 3D representation. So you can track gains and losses in different parts of your body to like the millimeter.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then we have a Visia scanner, which does kind of the same thing for your face. It tracks your facial aging, and it tells you where you are with different aspects of UV light damage, wrinkles, and we can follow that we can follow along with that as well and keep like data points on that.
Amazing.
So, yeah, great stuff.
Should we go and jump into our brain infusions?
You want to do that? Let's do it. Let's do some brain IVs.
Okay. Pleasure.
Kevin, great to meet you.
Kevin,
Glad
pleasure.
to have you here.
So Kevin, what's your background?
Brand building. I've built multiple businesses, scaled businesses over the years. I've always been hugely passionate about health and wellness. Darshan and I have been best friends for like 10 years. We got together and collaborated on this. You know, it's really been a passion of his to disrupt the healthcare industry.
Beautiful.
So we came together with how do we make this fun, amazing, exciting, so people actually want to take and participate in their health.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin's my co-founder, and we've been on this journey for 2 years. We decided, how do we reinvent healthcare from the ground up? How do we turn it on its head? So we just sat down one day over sushi and said, all these things are wrong. What's the exact opposite? That's what we did.
I'm so with you and so excited and
is.
so pleased to be in each other's universes.
I know, I love it.
Fantastic.
I love that you're here.
I love this vision of enabling people to, as I say, become CEO of your own health,
Exactly.
right? Where you're giving them enough data, enough information, where they can choose and they can steer.
Right.
And ignorance is no longer an option.
Exactly.
And the reality is making access to tools is easy enough where there's no excuse anymore.
Right, absolutely. And you know, you say ignorance is no longer an option. Look at where ignorance has got us in healthcare over the last few decades. I mean, chronic disease is out of control, Alzheimer's, diabetes, obesity, and it's because we relied on our government to pass down information that we thought was scientifically valid. And we know this, you know, the whole sugar industry and the farming industry influenced politics, food recommendation, and it made us all sick. And I think if people arm themselves with the knowledge to take control of their own health, and honestly, it's not that complicated. I think also medicine, you know, we went to medical school. There's a lot to it, but the medicine of health is actually pretty easy to understand, right?
Especially when you can get a few basic parameters that you can measure and you can track.
Right.
Where you are, and if you can't measure it, you can't impact it. So one of the things that you do here, which is great, is you measure, and then you give tools to allow people to impact that.
Exactly.
So let's talk about your ideal patient customer, if you would.
Sure.
What are they doing? How often are they coming here? What are they measuring?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Absolutely.
To themselves.
So we consider ourselves like your health trainers, your medical health trainers, and we're kind of like the equinox of health. And what we do, we see our clients, our members are totally engaged with coming here once a week, or they'll come here once every other week, and they'll kind of do the circuit. They'll do an infrared, they'll do a cryo, they'll get an IV done, then they'll meet with our medical practitioners once a month to optimize a certain area of their health. So say they're having troubles with sleep, we'll do a sleep tracker and we'll watch their sleep over a month, and then we'll give them things that they can improve in their sleep environment. We'll help them with supplementation, creating a stack for them that is customized to something that they need. Now, if sleep is not an issue, maybe they want to focus on hormone levels, they'll say, and we'll talk about that. And what happens is, over the course of a year, we've covered all aspects of your health, and we continually track with our blood biomarkers, our next health baseline we call it, every 3 months to see improvements. And that's what most of our clients do. And we have people coming in once a week. We have some people even coming in every day. We've made health a part of people's routine, just like going to the gym, just like eating a salad.
So let's talk about this. So I am very interested in making this a regular part of my life.
Absolutely.
Right? Great.
Right.
So once a week or once every 2 weeks is what you'd say? Okay, so I come in here. I've already done a good amount of the test. I think probably the full gamut through you have 3 facilities right now.
Exactly.
This one here in Century City. You have one in Santa Monica at the Bulletproof Labs facility that you guys have started.
Yep.
And then the third one is where?
In West Hollywood,
West
right on
Hollywood.
Sunset Boulevard, 8000 Sunset.
Great. But is it got the same facilities here?
Yeah, so basically, what we want to do is put our facilities in locations where people have easy access. They can come in, they can come out, just like going to a gym, for example.
And do you expect to go nationwide?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Fantastic.
And so we're going to open 5 more facilities in the LA market in the next year or two.
Okay.
And we just, we realize that we need to make this very convenient for people to come in for a couple of hours, maybe once a week, twice a week, and get everything done.
So I could come in here with Esther, or Marissa, or Derek, and we can have infusions, have a meeting, have a conversation, do what we need to do.
People do that all the time.
And so let's talk through again what a typical flow for me would be.
Sure, sure.
I think I'm prototypical to a number of of our typical Abundance community members.
Absolutely.
And then what are the costs associated with becoming a member and doing this?
Great. So, for example, the typical flow for you would be you come in, we'll do some biomarkers on you. We get the biomarker results back in a week.
So, okay,
Yeah.
so maybe I've done the biomarker test. You draw the bloods here.
You draw everything
But
here.
there are some kits I would take home, like a biome kit.
Right. The biome is a stool sample, so you take that home and submit that. We'd get the results and review them with you. But basically, you'd come in, you'd maybe do some of the technology that we have, either cryo, infrared, get an IV, just to kind of get yourself familiar with some of the things available to you. And then in a week, when we get your results back, you'll sit down with our nurse practitioner and we'll review all the 12 aspects on our wellness wheel that we went over a little while ago. We'll review all of those and find out which ones we're going to focus on this month. And then we'll do some additional testing if that's something we need to focus on. Maybe some tracking, like with sleep. If micronutrient supplementation is an issue, we'll do a micronutrient panel. If gut health is an issue, we'll test your microbiome. So that's kind of the...
And I love this notion of, listen, we're not going to do everything at once.
Right.
We're going to take this a step at a time. It's a lifelong, long life objective here. Right? And so let's work on this month, and then and we'll step on this next month and see how things are going. But it's paying attention to it.
Right. It's creating that habit in your mind. Like, people think your health is a once a year thing with a once a year checkup with your doctor, and it's not. Like, just going once a year and getting everything tested and not coming back for another year or two, you're really not caring for your health. It has to be a monthly, at least a monthly cycle, preferably a weekly cycle. That's where you're going to really turn back the clock and optimize your health. So.
And how do you price your membership here? What are you looking at?
Yeah, so we have different levels of membership. Our introductory memberships are around $100, where you could just come in and you get what's called opt-ins. Opt-ins are basically our currency here, and you get a certain number of opt-ins every month to utilize in technology. Now, what we really prefer is you involve yourself in the medical aspect of this, where you meet with our nurse practitioners or medical practitioners once a month, and that's $199 a month as a starting level. Now, as we add hormone optimization to it, additional testing, there's different levels that we have that go
And
higher.
is it by the test, or is there a monthly membership that you get?
There is. So there's a monthly membership. You get all the testing, which is $5.99 a month, and that includes all of our testing, includes all of our Optum technology. You also get IVs in that package. And then if you want to add hormone optimization with the pellet therapy that we talked about, then that can go up to $1,000 a month. So,
but the $5.99, so that sounds like the kind of level I would want to come in at.
Right.
How many IVs do you get per month there?
That one involves 2 IVs a month, and you also get 2 IM shots a month, and all of our technology. Pretty much you have enough Optums to use it as much as you want.
Yeah, so you get to do the testing to make sure that you've got the information.
Exactly. This is testing that insurance doesn't cover. This is health and wellness testing. And so the testing is pretty expensive normally. It would cost you more than that if you went out there and tried to buy some of this testing on your own, but we've negotiated prices down to where we can offer that and the consultation with it for a reasonable monthly fee.
And where do you think you want to go down the line in terms of, like, 5 years from now? What's your vision for Next Health?
So what I would like to see is Next Health in pretty much every major city in the United States, where we've located ourselves close to population centers where people can come in and make this a daily routine. My vision is if we can change how people think of their health and not outsource health to a doctor that is more disease diagnosis focused versus health optimization focused. If I achieve that goal, even in 5-10 million people, I would be extremely happy. And I'd love to see it grow beyond there. Like what you say, how do you change the lives of 1 billion people, right? You can get 1 billion people to think about health as a routine that is not something to be outsourced to a physician on a yearly basis. It's something that you take the knowledge into your own head, you take it into your own heart to make this part of your routine, just like going to the gym. Gyms came about just a few decades ago, right? I mean, they weren't around forever, and this gym craze made people kind of realize that they need to focus on exercise. And then we started talking about diet. Well, now we know there's so much more people need to talk about, and that's where we want to get to, that point.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell me about your vision or what you have going on here?
Yeah. So as we grow, what we're going to ask people to do is we have our app that's coming out. Our app will give you all your biomarker results. You'll be able to communicate directly with our health practitioners.
So all of the, let's actually take a quick, a quick sense of what are the biomarkers that you typically have here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Next Health Baseline, that's going to measure inflammatory markers, is going to measure your electrolyte levels, liver health, kidney health. It's going to do a CBC, which is a complete blood count. We're also measuring hormone levels. We're also measuring different levels of a few key vitamins like B vitamins, D vitamins. Pretty much a 10,000-foot view of your health to kind of point us in the right direction.
And how often should I be doing that?
I would say every 3 to 6 months.
Okay,
every 3 to 6 months.
So I did mine probably about 4 or 5 months ago last time at Bulletproof Labs, so maybe I'll repeat that today.
I think you should, yeah. Let's get another set of biomarkers on you. Then what we'd also do is we have, as you know, microbiome testing that we do with Viome. We also
Time for me to do that again too?
Right, yeah, and then we also do gut health testing, so we'll do a serum zonulin level, which tells us if you have leaky gut or not. We have genetic tests, which you only need to do once, as you know. So we do a full suite of genetic tests.
I'm good there.
For wellness. Yep. You have your entire genome sequence. I know. And then what we also have testing for in our biomarker room, which is where you sit on that DEXA scanner and get your body composition, which I think is key. Like to know what your bone mass is, your muscle mass, and your visceral fat, and your total fat. Those numbers are 4 numbers everyone needs to track on an every 3 to 6 month basis.
And it's interesting, right? Because the challenge is that a lot of us, especially if we can afford it, have data sets here and data sets there and data sets there. There's very few places you have it centralized.
Exactly.
In a way that is that you can. And you could look at it in integrated fashion to look over time what's going on.
Right, and what's great about it is you hear about a lot of these things in podcasts and you hear about a lot of these things, but you just don't know where to get this stuff done. And what we've done is curate all the testing, curate the data, and put it together in one place, like you said, and then give you access in an app and give you explanations in an app. And then my vision is to take that data and, with people's permission, of course, crunch the numbers and see what therapies make a difference, and then give proactive recommendations using your health data. So we can sense using trackers, we can sense using your blood work where things are going, and then we can even, potentially run studies in the future as well. I think once we get a critical mass of people that are participating in their health and donating their data to medical science, I think we can do some pretty radical things.
Awesome.
Yeah, fun stuff.
There are companies out there like the Cool Sculpture and the sort of EM sculpt type technologies. Do you intend to incorporate technologies like that here?
Yeah, I mean, aesthetic technologies is definitely a part of what we do. Like we tell people, and me being a recovering plastic surgeon, like we talked about, I have a lot of knowledge in that space. Yeah. My focus is not that, but a lot of the people that come in, they're feeling so great and they just feel so much younger than what they see in the mirror, and then we can help them with that. And so technologies like Cool Sculpt, our lasers, PRP, we use that to kind of turn back the clock on your facial aging. If you have some areas of fat that are resistant, we can get rid of those with either radio frequency or cool technology. We do offer these things. We also are planning on offering sexual health technology as well to help in that aspect of life. I just feel that it all kind of comes together, and focusing on your health does involve a healthy amount of things like IVs and things, but also when you look as good as you feel, I mean, just what that does for your confidence is amazing.
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about the stem cells work that you do here. So what does it look like, and what does it cost for a person to get their autologous stem cells, and what does that mean? Let's walk it through here for folks.
For sure. So our costs on a stem cell procedure is $8,000 to $10,000, and what we do is we do what's called a mini liposuction, where we basically numb a small area of your fat, either on your back or in your abdomen, and we remove some fat, and then we process.
How much fat do you typically remove?
About 200 cc's or so. We try to get a good amount so we can get a good
probably,
number of stem cells.
a vial about that big.
Right, exactly.
And so you'll come in sort of the love handle type area.
Exactly.
And so that, as many of you may know, your fat is one rich source of stem cells. Your bone marrow is another, but I agree, fat is a better place to go.
Right, exactly. And the stem cells in your fat are locked in between, they're in the little blood, they're next to the blood vessels. So they're kind of locked up in tissue. So you have to release them from that tissue by doing some minimal processing to it. And then once you process it, which is part of the key of all this, and purify it with our machine that spins it and shakes it, then we take those stem cells and we inject them through a filter back into your bloodstream. And stem cells, as you know, have this incredible ability to hone in on areas of inflammation and damage.
Yep.
And they go there and they find those locations and they start producing new cells to help heal those areas. And that's the theory behind stem cells. And there's still a lot of research that needs to be done as we know.
We're just at the beginning.
We're just at the beginning. There is some newer technology coming out with umbilical stem cells, or even placental stem cells, and we're kind of filtering throughout all the noise, really looking at the information there and seeing what things that we can incorporate.
But right now, your FDA allows you in the United States to give you your own stem cells, which is your autologous stem cells, versus cells derived from a placenta of someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if you happen to have your own placental stem cells saved, you can give them back to yourself.
Yeah, unfortunately, most people only have a little bit saved. But I think the fat is a great source of stem cells, and
so you're giving it intravenous.
Intravenously, right.
And then the platelet-rich plasma, the PRP therapies, where you're taking out your own blood.
Your own blood.
You're spinning down.
You spin down the blood, and then there's a layer that develops on top of the blood cells that has all your growth factors in it. So we extract those growth factors and we inject them into areas that need growth factors.
So where is that typically? Do you in the facial skin?
Facial skin, deeper facial tissues, and even for hair. And so we have a pretty good hair program here involving PRP to your scalp. We also have light therapy to help your hair grow. We do hormone optimization for that, and up to follicular unit extraction and grafting, like we talked about. So we do grafting here as well.
Fantastic.
Right.
What other techniques or therapies do you want to tell our fellow Abundance members about?
So what we like to do is not talk about just the individual aspects, but how it can all be brought together into your overall health and what aspect of your health you need to focus on. So let's use cardiovascular health as an example. That's one aspect of our wellness wheel. What we'll do is first, depending on your risk status and your history, which we sit down and get, we'll decide if you need to have additional testing done. And so we can do some testing here, but we can also refer you out to a cardiologist that can do things like calcium score, right? And then we tie that into your overall program of what we can do here for you. We do fractionated LPL as well. So the small pieces of cholesterol that in that fraction are the ones that really cause a lot of the damage. So those are the kind of things we test for. So based on what aspect we're looking to optimize, we'll come out with a clearly defined program with the latest technology, what we can offer you in testing and treatment wise to optimize that aspect. So longevity, like when we sit down and talk about longevity, we talk about stem cells, we talk about NAD, we talk about infrared, we talk about fasting mimicking diets, we talk about all those things. All those things together can help increase your longevity, and then we use telomere testing on both ends of this to see how your telomere is doing. Are we making a difference? So those are the kind of things we do.
Darshan, one of the things that you've done is made this accessible to literally anybody walking off the street. Right? You don't need to be coming here with a doctor's prescription.
Right.
You don't have to actually, depending on the day of the week, I could walk in and say, hey, I'm interested. And
not even depending on the day of the week, we're open 7 days a week actually.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so I think that's really important. People go to a doctor and they can only go between the hours of 9 to 5 unless they're going to an urgent care. They wait forever. It's on the 5th floor of whatever medical building.
And it looks crappy.
Yeah, and there's a window sometimes between you and the receptionist.
Oh my God, it's awful.
It's like the worst.
It's like really?
Yeah. And we wanted this to be a fun environment. We wanted to be a open, welcoming environment. We wanted it to be beautiful, and we wanted it to be easily accessible. So you come in during your lunch hour, or when you're out with your family on having dinner. Like we're in a mall for that reason, that it's just super easily accessible to people. And that's kind of been our model, and it's been fantastic because now you've removed the barriers of talking about your health, experiencing your health. All the barriers that were previously there have been removed. And so that's been huge for us. And tons of our business, almost all of our members are from walk-in traffic and from social media. We do $0 in marketing. Everything's organic.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. When is the app going to be available?
V1 is going to be available in the next week or so.
Awesome.
And we're going to be in beta for a little while, and then we're going to, we have a development team on it that works on it every single day. So we're going to keep launching new features, and kind of the features, my dream features like I talked about, where we aggregate data, do proactive recommendations using artificial intelligence. I anticipate that being done within a year or so.
Beautiful.
Yeah, fun
Listen,
stuff.
this is great, and I really, I'm lucky living in LA to have this accessible to me, both down the street at Bulletproof and here. Anyway, I'm excited to make this a very routine, regular part of my life, pal.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you. Such
a pleasure.
Let's next answer some questions for the Abundance audience. I'm
absolutely.
sure they're going to have a bunch of them. Hey everybody, I'm back here with Darshan. We've done a quick move into an infusion lab. I'm sitting here getting my NAD transfusion, nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide.
Right.
Yeah, so NAD is part of every cell. It's part of your DNA, your mitochondrial DNA support, repair, mitochondrial energy. And I've been on this infusion now for a little bit. Now we're going to do your Q&A. Hope you guys don't mind. We split up the recording of what you just saw, and now our live Q&A here, just to be able to maximize this. So Darshan,
yes.
Awesome. My ability to come here every week or two and get boosted up is amazing. So let's jump into the questions.
Sure, let's do it.
I'm here with the amazing official title is Operations Goddess, Marissa Brassfield. All right, Marissa.
Hey guys, and we're excited to do our team cryotherapy treatments after this as well.
Yeah.
First question comes from Francis. What is the MTP and moonshots of Next Health?
Oh, what a great question. Being an abundance member, I remember you first telling me about moonshots and MTPs, and I never really had one until last year. And so I would say the MTP for Next Health is to change how everyone thinks about their health, to go from the society where we have outsourced our health completely to this establishment of physicians and hospitals and blood tests that we have nothing that we just don't know anything about, and we haven't educated ourselves on, just totally seeing a doctor maybe once a year and getting a minimal amount of blood testing, to just completely turn that around and change how basically all of our population interacts with the healthcare system. Taking control of your own health, like you say, become the CEO of your own health and stay healthy for a long, long time. And I think if we can change everyone's mindset around their health and what it really means, and give them the tools and give them the testing and everything they need, and the education mostly that they need to make this happen for themselves, it would change humanity, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. This next one comes from Frank. What are Darshan's thoughts on NAD+? I've been reading tons of research and would love an expert's perspective.
All right. Well, I don't think anyone in the world is a real expert yet. And just like with everything new out there, we are learning a lot as we're going forward. And so, Peter's hooked up to NAD right now. And how you feeling?
I feel great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, NAD has really hit the limelight in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years because of addiction treatment. And it's been shown to really help people that are addicted to major hardcore drugs, kind of rewire their brain.
By the way.
Yeah, which
just caffeine is my hardcore drug.
Mine too.
Yeah.
So, but we're also seeing incredible benefits for just anyone looking for anti-aging, anyone looking for energy, and just turning back the clock. And let me give you a little bit of the science of NAD first. So NAD is one of the precursor substrates that your mitochondria use to create energy. And what happens as we age, we're just genetically programmed for our mitochondria, number one, to not as function as well, and for us to have less mitochondria. And we just don't have the amount of power, and we all feel this as we age. We don't have the amount of power that we have in our 20s because genetically we're programmed to start basically declining after we reach our 20s and 30s, when evolution's kind of done with us and we're done procreating, right?
Exactly.
But as we all know, we want to live a lot longer, but we also want to feel energized a lot longer. So all that being said, NAD infusions have been shown to increase energy. There's also a lot of research being done as far as NAD turning back chronological age or biological age, as far as with telomere research. So people are doing research in that as well. And there's still some kind of controversy between oral NAD and IV NAD. I do both, actually. And I don't know, do you take oral NAD?
You know, I've done nasal
Mm-hmm.
NAD. What type of oral NAD do you take?
Yeah, so there's Elysium is one of the supplements.
I do take Elysium.
Yeah, and True Niagen, yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you know, if you look at Elysium's website and just the huge number of PhDs and experts they have in their advisory board, and just the amount of research that's on their website, and if you do a literature search, there's tons of evidence behind how this is really changing people's cellular biology. So I'm a big fan of it. I try to do it once a month at least. Some people do get uncomfortable when you do it. You're a rock star, you have no discomfort, and so that's fantastic. But definitely worth trying. And here's the thing, I feel like a lot of things in healthcare now, if it's not causing harm, right? If it's not causing harm, it's not causing you to not feel good, why not give it a try and see how you feel afterwards? I know personally, and all the people that we've treated, they feel amazing after an NAD treatment.
How long does that feeling last, and how often have you taken a NAD infusion?
Yeah. So I've done NAD 4 times now. We started offering it here about 6 months ago, after I did a thorough deep dive into the literature about it. And I've done it once a month. I would say the effects for me last about 7 to 10 days. We have people coming in here weekly actually doing NAD.
Well, I'm off to Brazil for the next week, so
you're going to feel amazing.
Yeah.
I will warn you,
Yes.
after you do NAD, you're going to walk around feeling super energized. One of the things that, and I should have told you this before, so sorry. One of the things you want to avoid is a lot of alcohol afterwards.
Okay.
So
that's fine.
Yeah, it will kind of take the energy out of it and make you feel a little bit bad. So,
yeah. Well, alcohol is a depressant.
Yes, exactly. Counteracting forces there.
A lot of questions asking for the differences between Next Health and HLI. How's the mission different? What do they have in common? And also, is there potential for a partnership between you two and or Viome?
So we've talked about that potential for a partnership, and they are extremely complementary. So when you go to HLI, what you're getting principally there that you're not getting here, at HLI, we're doing a full body MRI at super high resolution, head to toe, basically. And then we're doing a brain MRI, a vascular MRI, looking for any kinds of aneurysms, any kind of brain atrophy, brain issues, and looking for microtumors in your body. We're doing coronary CT and lung CT, looking at the vasculature of your heart and your lungs. Then we are doing sleep monitoring, and we're doing a slew of other things. There is some overlap in the things that you get here, and that's great. We've talked about how do we collaborate, and I'll be introducing Darshan to David Caro and Pam Brar, who are running our health nucleus. And if we get an HLI facility here in LA, I'm going to fully advise we try and make it as close to Next Health as we can.
I would love that. So my personal thoughts are, I feel like we're we're so complementary because all the data that you collect on people, the full sequencing of the genome, the full body MRI, that's not things that we do here. What we're really about is making your health kind of almost like a gym membership, like a membership to Equinox. We want you to come and participate in your health on a weekly basis. Get blood work done every 3 months, get an IV every once in a while, do cryotherapy, infrared therapy, sauna therapy, meet with our medical practitioners and talk about diet, exercise, and and we also help you with things like gut health and heart health. But we're creating a membership sort of plan where you come in on a weekly basis and a monthly basis to really focus on your health. And we would love to refer all of our clients to HLI so they can get all the full testing done.
HLI is a once a year test just to make sure there's no major disease that's visually, and then your genome, your sequence the rest of your life, but they really are very complementary in so many ways.
And that's what health is all about, right? Health is about maintaining health and making sure you live in the absence of disease. And I think we're both working on both of those things, but to really make sure you don't have disease, a full body MRI is an amazing way to diagnose even tiny. You've diagnosed like 2% of people with cancer and they don't even know it. 2.5%
of people who walk in who think they're totally fine, turn out they've got a cancer growing, and I've had a number of A360 members saying, dude, you saved my life. Yeah. I went there and the next day I checked in, I had Da Vinci surgery, had the cancer removed, I'm totally fine, but if it had gone to stage 3 or 4, I wouldn't be here today.
Incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible.
And I saw some Viome products out there. How is that?
And we had Naveen actually here a couple of weeks ago, and we're partnered with Naveen. We sell Viome here. Viome is a big part of our gut health program. For anyone that doesn't know what Viome is, it's a gut health test. Basically, it's testing your microbiome. Your microbiome are the trillions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi that live in your gut that affect more of your everyday biology than even your own cells sometimes. There's, I think, 10,000 times more bacterial DNA than human DNA in our body.
Yeah, well, right? You have 10 times the number of, say, you have 100 trillion human cells for a large person and 10 times the number of bacterial, viral, fungal cells. But the reality is, and Naveen does a great job explaining this, and his science team, that we're starting to discover that the bacteria in your body, in your gut, on your skin, in every place, is significant in affecting a wide range of your mood, your obesity, your disease status, your level of inflammation. There's some evidence that even talks about diseases like Parkinson's. I mean, we're going to find out so much, and it's this next decade that we're going to start to learn this as large data and AI and health technology converge.
Yeah, and there's two really important things that I really like about Viome versus just doing like one of the other tests of your gut. So one of the things that we do is we work Viome into our gut health program, which is an actual program we have here for our members, and we are trying to treat leaky gut. And leaky gut is, for people that don't know, is when some of your intestinal barriers to outside toxins have been diminished. And one of the ways those are diminished is by your microbiome not being healthy, but another way is by food allergens like gluten and dairy and those type of things getting through in between your gut cells. And so we do a test called a serum zonulin test that tells us if you have leaky gut. Now, if you do have a leaky gut, we do things such as modifying your diet. And what Viome does is it tells you exactly what foods you should eat and what you shouldn't eat for your current microbiome. So it's really magical in that way, because things that you think that you can eat just fine, like I found out I shouldn't be eating cucumbers, and I would have never known that. And it's not, it changes, right? Like your microbiome changes, your gut, what your bacteria in your gut that live there want changes. And so I do my Viome test every 3 to 4 months if I can.
I mean, again, full disclosure, my venture fund, Bold Capital Partners, were a large founding investor in Viome. I love the product.
Amazing.
And interestingly enough, just to geek out here for a second, if you do a typical microbiome test, it is looking at what bacteria are in your gut by looking at the DNA of that. Viome doesn't do that. Viome looks at what the RNA coming out of those cells are. Why? Because RNA is actually, if you transcribe some DNA, so you may have a single cell of a bacteria that shows up on a DNA sequencing of your microbiome, but you may have a particular version of a cell that's got a particular gene that's being transcribed. So you actually are learning what are the active genes and how many of these bacteria versus just that it's present. It's no, not enough. How many of those bacteria and which genes inside those bacteria are actually active. You just learn a lot more.
Yeah, so much more data, and then applying artificial intelligence to that to give recommendations so the future's headed.
And Viome's relatively cheap, like $300 for the test. Yeah. And I agree, I did one 3 months ago. I just took a kit back when I was here last, and we're doing that now.
Wow. Great. You have another question for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Rick asks, I love the idea of being CEO of my own health. How can I take what I learned to improve my lifestyle?
Wow, that's a great question. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you're going to learn. So let's talk a little about our baseline test. Depending on your age, you're going to learn a lot of different things from your baseline. One of the things you're going to learn about is your hormone levels, and for men, testosterone is an incredibly important hormone, even for women. And once you learn about what testosterone is and what it does, then and you know what your number is, then you learn natural ways to increase or boost your testosterone level, and then what supplements you can take to boost your testosterone level, and then what other treatments are available to help boost that if you need to even boost it. And so that's one example of something you can learn. Another thing that we test for is heavy metals in your blood system. So heavy metals are in almost everything that we eat and drink nowadays, and we can develop toxic levels. We live in one of the most toxic environments in history now, living in a city, and you need to learn to detoxify your life a little bit. I'll give you my personal examples. I had very, very high mercury levels about 2 years ago.
Not as high as Tony Robbins' mercury levels.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. And it was all because I was on this huge sushi craze, and I was eating tuna, which is like a large fish that lives in polluted waters for a very long extended period of time, takes in a lot of mercury, and I was eating that mercury. And I cut that out of my diet, did a few other things, and I decreased my mercury level, and I immediately started feeling better, being able to exercise longer, sleeping better. So these are all the tools that we give you.
And your memory got better too.
And my memory got a little bit better, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we've talked about this a number of times. The most important things in your life are exercise, sleep, and eating right. And it just, that is line one, page one of your health. We've had a number of people on our webinars in the past talking about that. I've shifted mostly to a vegan diet, and I will have some animal protein on occasion, but my go-to is constantly on the vegan diet. Sleeping is a priority. I don't do enough. I've got my Aura Ring here, which I hope you guys all know about, that I love. And at the end of the day, exercise is fundamentally critical, and it's probably my biggest downfall, given my travel, is not exercising enough. I've got my treadmill desk where I'll try and get at least 10,000 steps in a day, or morning walks where I take my meetings. And then the next level is what Next Health is about, really creating your baseline data, being able to get the transfusions, being able to use things like cryotherapy and the red light therapy and so forth.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, being the CEO of your own health, it's not easy. Like being the CEO of a business is not easy. There's a lot you got to learn. There's a lot of routines you got to get into on a daily basis and stick to it.
If you can't measure it, you can't impact it.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So, understanding, figuring out what you want to measure and what your key parameters are, and then paying attention to those things are important. For most of us, it's your heart rate, your blood pressure, your weight. But you can do better than that.
Yeah, there's a lot more. And, your regular doctor is not going to do all this testing for you. First of all, you have to make an appointment. Then you got to wait in the waiting room for an hour and a half. And then you got to convince him to do it and tell him why. And then you have to deal with the insurance company. We offer all the testing here, advanced testing that most doctors' offices don't do. And because of our volume, we've negotiated the pricing down to where it's affordable for most people.
Yeah. Oh. And I love, you've not sort of overpacked your facility. You've just opened this, and what percentage capacity are you now?
We're about 30% right now, so we just opened 3 months ago.
Yeah, so it's great. I mean, you could literally walk in, sign up, and be plugged in how long?
Within 30 minutes, 20 minutes in fact. Yeah, and and that includes getting all your blood tests done for your baseline, talking to a medical practitioner to find out what IV is going to be the best for you, getting you the IV, and even after that you can go do a cryo or an infrared session. Like, people come in here for an hour once a week, and it's like going to the gym, and they get all their longevity boosts done. Yeah.
A couple questions. Any plans to expand globally? I'm hearing questions from Canada and Africa.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah, definitely, global is on our mind. We are basically taking over the LA area first, which once we've kind of proven out the model, we'll probably go either into corporate-owned stores or either franchise model. And so global is definitely on our radar. Of course, knowing you, we're not going to do anything small. We're going to have a massively transformative purpose. I'm going to make this as big as possible. Let me know where in Africa you want me to open one.
Beautiful. I'll pass that on after this. Masanga wonders, if you have already done the full genome sequencing and microbiome with HLI, could that information help with Next Health assessments?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But the thing about full genome analysis is you have so much data that you don't even really know what to do with a lot of it right now.
Very true.
And so what we do is we look at single nucleotide polymorphism, SNPs, and that gives us more actionable data as well. So I don't know if you, and we should talk about this in our future partnership, if we can access that data and figure out what the SNPs are so we can give actionable data.
How many SNPs do you do?
We do 180 SNPs right now.
And is this basically a 23andMe-like panel, or?
Yeah, no, so 23andMe...
Have you created your own SNP panel?
We've created our own. So we've used companies like Pathway Genomics, and so we have SNPs that how to impact your diet, what's the best diet for you, what's the best exercise routines for you, supplements, what you should take, what you shouldn't take, what you're probably deficient in. So we have a lot of lifestyle related factors that we can comment on based on your genetics, and that's been amazing. As far as the microbiome is concerned, yes, we can use that information to look at your past, but your microbiome is always changing, and so it's really, you want to measure that after every 3 to 6 months, or especially if you've gone on a big international trip, guaranteed your microbiome probably changes like on a weekly basis. Probably. Right? The amount of travel you do.
Yeah.
This one's for both Peter and Darshan from Jan. Do you believe that proactive treatments are going to be the future of healthcare and the key to living a longer, healthier life?
It's not the future, it's now. I mean, you have to do this now. You look around you and just see the amount of people that are getting Alzheimer's disease, that have cardiovascular incidents, that are obese, that have tons of inflammation. I mean, this is from living a lifestyle of not being proactive. What's killing most of us nowadays is chronic disease. And chronic disease also leads to cancer. And those are the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cause of death now. Yeah. And it's not in the future. This is now. Everything, and that's what Next Health is all about. Is about being proactive, taking charge of that.
Yeah, Jan. I mean, at the end of the day, what is the easiest thing to do is sit on the couch and eat potato chips, bluntly, right. And it's what a lot of our is causing a lot of disease, obesity, diabetes, and so forth. Being proactive is really making a decision of what you're going to eat, how you're going to eat, the amount of exercise you're going to get, the amount of sleep you're going to get, and then on top of that, understanding the status of your health. What beautiful thing about what Next Health does is they've actually created a baseline set of tests that allow you to understand where are you, so that you can begin to decide where you want to go, right? You can't measure it, you can't impact it. So that's the step. So do people have to actually come into the facility to be part of this? Is there any way of doing anything from remote locations right now? Yeah,
right now we're just brick and mortar based. We are launching an app in the next month or two where we're going to try to make some of this available on a more global basis. There's lots of legalities between countries and between states, in fact, as well, about who gets to draw blood, who gets to interpret the test. So there's a lot of logistical stuff we got to go through there. But look, at the end of the day, if you're not in California, there are doctors out there that will help you with this. One of my favorite groups of doctors are functional medicine doctors.
Yes. Yeah. Remember that functional medicine physicians, super important.
Right, and the association, and go to the website, is IFM, that's an International Functional Medicine Association, and if you go to that website, you can search your country, your state, for a functional medicine doctor that they know what we're talking about. They're not gonna prevent you from getting blood tests that you should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a strategic perspective, how are you changing people's minds about taking ownership of their health? Are you measuring and providing insights on outcomes over time?
Yes, so that's exactly what we're doing. So there's 2 or 3 strategies that we're using. Number one is we have our membership. And so people ask, like, why should I become a member here? I'll just come whenever I feel like it. Well, our membership includes a plan. And so what we've done is we have what's called the wellness wheel. It's like this circular diagram of the 12 aspects of your health that you want to focus on over time. So it starts, of course, with nutrition, sleep, and exercise, but then we talk about cardiovascular health, gut health, hormonal health. We talk about detoxification, and it goes on from there. And every month you come in, we will sit and talk with you. You'll talk to a medical practitioner about that aspect of your health. What testing is available, where you are right now, what testing you need, and then what potential treatments are to make it better. And so when people get into this mindset or this routine about coming here once a week or coming here once a month and doing that, all of a sudden it becomes a routine for you, and then it does change your mindset. Just like, no one went to the gym 30 years ago, right? I mean, that's a new concept, and now it's in everyone's routine to go to the gym. We're doing the same thing for proactive health. I'll get in there.
Yeah. We're looking at my NID infusion, which I started 2 hours ago. So anyway, while you were watching the pre-recorded half, I started doing this, and now almost done.
Yeah, you're gonna feel amazing the next week or so.
Leslie wants to know, does the patient still need his or her own external primary care provider to make this successful?
I would say yes, you still need a primary care provider, because when you have a cough or a cold, although we can support you with our immune boosting IV, you'll need to see a primary care doctor for things such as getting antibiotics, or maybe if you have a skin rash. We don't treat disease states, we optimize health states. And so we tell everyone that we have UCLA upstairs, we have primary care people all around us, and we work very well with them because they refer people to us all the time, because primary care is, by definition, you go to them when you first have a problem, and you see them once a year for a checkup. We're everything in between.
Yeah, I agree.
Are there any investment opportunities?
Stay tuned. Come to our website, next-health.com. One of the things we will use your money for, if you invest, is to buy nexthealth.com from the guy who owns it. But yeah, we will be opening up a round by the end of the year for our Series A investment round. So far, it's just been me, friends and family, and we're just like we have 3 locations, and we've been doing great. We're already profitable, which is, knock on wood, fantastic traction for us.
Are there any plans for licensing programs, for example, in Europe?
We are planning on potentially franchising, in which case you'll license the whole thing. So,
yeah. Good. So, Pal, we're just about at the end of our hour, and I'm excited to be a Next Health member, and excited for our partnership.
Thank you.
And this is, as I can't say it more strongly, this is the most amazing time to be alive. You don't want to miss out on a year of your life. And as we head towards what Ray calls longevity escape velocity, the next 10 to 12 years, staying healthy and staying in a sense of gratitude, I think is what it's all about. And for this, I am grateful to you, pal.
I'm grateful to you for my abundance mindset. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you,
very
everybody.
soon. I'll be in Brazil this end of this week. We're going to be doing a 2-day A360 in Rio de Janeiro, which is exciting. A huge amount of excitement around exponential technologies in Brazil, and then back, and then a month from now, at the end of September, will be in Shanghai. A number of our Abundance members are going on a platinum trip to Shenzhen and Shanghai, and a 2-day Abundance event in Shanghai. It's extraordinary. Just came back from the SU Global Summit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the videos from the Global Summit, and just so much going on. Looking forward to seeing you guys next month for our next webinar. Take care.